David?
Mike, now that you've kind of gotten through this stretch, can you just talk about the significance of winning 3 straight games on the road in December and just the difficulty of being able to do that?
I mean, I think it's obviously, a good place to be. I mean, if you look at our home record versus our away record, we recognize that, our ability to win on the road, which, we have one left in Philadelphia. So it's important. I think it talks to our football team that they, just the way they travel well, and good defense always, I think, escalates the opportunity to win on the road. So we've been playing really good defense. But yeah, it's definitely things you can build off of.
You marched it from the 4th seed to the 2th seed. I know you haven't clinched anything yet, and I know those things work itself out.
Did you hear what you just said? Huh? We haven't clinched anything yet, and we went to the 2 seed.
Right. Yes. I mean, but do you think about those things? Those things matter, is what I'm asking.
I think you recognize where you are, but I think just like anything, we just stayed on course today. We came out of the game healthy, so that was good news as the players went through the sick call process, and just want to get a jump on Washington. Obviously, they don't play till tomorrow, so it'll be we'll be all watching that game. But I think we all understand that we need to get this next game, and we know what our NFC record is and all those things. So we clearly understand what's going on around us. Definitely with Tampa Bay losing last night, Arizona losing. So we're aware, but at the end of the day, we have to take care of what's in front of us. We got 3 NFC games, and they're all versus excellent opponents that are also fighting. So this is, to me, I think it's a good place to be.
Any update on the COVID list? We the 2?
Yes, we have Matt Daniels, one of our coaches, tested positive today.
Can you talk about the 2 guys that went on the list over the weekend and when you found out about them?
One was Saturday morning, and the other was Saturday afternoon before we got on the plane. So they were cleared at the last minute, and we had a chance to make the adjustments before 3 o'clock Saturday.
To be clear, no players, just Matt.
Correct.
Mike, you talked about how in December you both want to make sure your team wins, but also constantly be improving and building that momentum. When you're in the middle of the game, particularly late in the game when you're up, how do you balance that as play callers and with your game strategy?
Not really thinking about it in the game, frankly. I think if you just go back and watch the decisions in the game, I think you try to, you play to what you feel the strength of your team and what's going on in that particular, Sunday afternoon. I mean, when you look at the way the defense was playing, the way they were trying to play on offense, and the way their defense was playing us. I mean, I think some of our decisions were tilted towards field position, making them play with the long field. I thought Brian had a huge day. I mean, just to punt in that environment, because there was some wind out there, and his ball placement, keeping them backed up, I thought was a huge factor for us.
Rotated at left tackle after watching the tape. What was your assessment of that?
I liked it. It was something we talked about during the course of the week, and I think it's something that was beneficial for both guys. So I think Terrence was 40 plus reps, and I know Ty came in right around 28. So I liked the way it worked out, and I think it was a good change up for the other side to deal with, and I think it was good to play both those guys.
What Tyron's status for this week?
I don't know. Yeah, it's too early. We'll see what he does in the Wednesday work, but I don't have a declaration for you. I know you're excited about it getting in early last week, but I can't give it to you this week.
Tony Pollard had, I think, 29 snaps. Is that where you plan on keeping him for now, or you think you can get more depending on the foot?
Well, I think as we talked Friday, I mean, we were going to go and see what how he felt during the course of the game, and he felt good. Actually came in today, checked out pretty good. So we'll look at Wednesday. We're going to go with a similar practice format that we went last Wednesday. It looks like we're going to be in virtual mode Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, but as far as Tony, what really did the week's work is going to have to answer that. But he did come out of the game in pretty good shape.
Will virtual mode mean in-person practice and otherwise virtual, or how does that?
Correct. Yeah, they're allowed to come in for practice, but we'll be virtual at the meetings.
And that's just a league thing, or is that you guys going above?
Well, the league's supposed to decide on that tonight, and I don't know if that's going to factor in with the Tuesday night games. So it's just really the way we're planning to go too. So we're trying to do everything we possibly can to lower the risk and keep our guys safe. So it's something that we were been working on today, but that's the way I'm leaning.
When you do that too, is it basically I mean, I know the rehab guys are different, but so basically don't show up here much before 45 minutes or whatever and get out of here about 45 minutes to an
Well,
hour.
it goes back to really what we did in the spring. I mean, you have the virtual meetings in the morning. There is on Wednesday you'll have you'll have a weight room group, early morning weight room group that you traditionally have on Wednesdays. So that'll stay the same, but you're limited to how many people you can have in a weight room if the league is on a full protocol. If the league isn't on a full protocol, then it changes the way we'll do our weight room. So, what I mean? So we got some things up in the air, but we're just planning ahead. So the breakfast will still be available, but the team meetings and the offense and defensive meetings will be virtual. Then there'll be a travel time. The special teams work just because the majority of their meetings are on the Ford Center, so they're spread out anyway. So that so that meeting space is more like a practice. So we're just staying within the guidelines of a full protocol process.
I know it's obviously not the way that the play was designed, but on Zeke's 10-yard carry where Connor McGovern's pushing the pile and Dalton Schultz is pushing the pile and Biotish pulling the pile. As a coach, what were your impressions of that way it developed?
Loved it. It is a design. It's called a bend back if you're looking to put a title on it. But no, definitely. I think it just, it's all part of the finish. It's all part of the above the 2.3. I mean, it's the characteristics you're looking for on both sides of the ball, finishing to the ball. And it was clearly, I think it was our best one of the year.
You talked to us before about 77 players in Green Bay when you won the Super Bowl. So far on defense, you've had 31 different guys record a stat, some kind of stat. Mm-hmm. Is that abnormal that it's that many guys?
Great question. I never studied it, so you beat me on the analytics punch here today, Todd. Good job for Todd. Let's give it up for Joe. Haven't done that in a while. It's been a while. Yeah, last one of the year there. But yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's definitely high. I know when earlier in the year when we first hit 30, I remember Dan and I talking about it. So particularly the number of young guys that have played. So. And I think it all pays, forward going into this. The biggest part, and it's part of our conversations with the personnel department, is, just trying to how this roster comes to play here down the stretch. You got some guys coming in off the IR and, things like that. So, it's a great place to be because we definitely have more than 53. So I think that's a real credit to our roster development and the fact that we're getting healthy too at this time too. So these are good challenges to have.
Not just the fact you hit 31 on defense too, but I mean you had a pretty high level of efficiency and consistency all the way through. How unusual is that?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great place to be in. I mean, because you sit there and you look at the packages that you're going to use during the course of the week, and I think like anything, hey, every guy wants to line up and play every snap of the game, and we get that. But there's a big picture process to this. We want to be healthy coming out of this 3-game stretch, ideally, if we can. So I think it's just like anything. We're talking about COVID, play time, if you can lower the risk, I think it's beneficial to your overall team process.
Mike, the public is really concerned that your offensive numbers are not what they were in September. Two questions. One, is that a reasonable expectation? And two, how do you view September football as different than December football?
I think clearly September football is different than December. I mean, I think you're coming out of training camp. There's more unknowns. There's more, scheme diversity. There's more unscouted looks. I think that's all common characteristics of September football. I think if I was going to gauge our scheme, leverage success early in the season, I definitely felt that we were on the plus side of that. So I thought that, both Dan and Kellen and John did a good job there coming out of training camp. So, but at the end of the day, once you get into the meat of the schedule and, you start having some regularity, it's more about scheme. It's more of the fundamentals and the basics. You got to defeat leverage. You can't just think you're going to be playing with the plus leverage situation every play. So I think that's all part of it. So yeah, definitely, I think December football is more challenging than September, without a doubt, from my experience. So numbers, in tune with the numbers, but I think the biggest thing that I watch is really the complementary. The things that tie into the complementary football. We're much better today than we were earlier in the year, like with time of possession, and turnover ratio is now where it should be. We've given the ball up of the last month more than we would like, because those are things that we can do a better job of. So something to improve on. But our takeaways were. We're doing a great job there. So I haven't seen the league stats yet, but I would think we're, probably 1, 2, or 3 in turnover ratio now. So I think we're definitely in the double digits where you want to be. And and I think it's a reflection of how much time we put into the team fundamental work and the emphasis. And, it's just real credit for our players that it's being carried over to Sundays. So I just think ROI is so important in this league. You get what you emphasize. More importantly, you get what you tolerate. And I think those statistics of what we emphasize, fundamentally, it's showing up, and it's showing up at the right time of year. So I feel good about that.
Marcus Lawrence was active in the backfield yesterday, had the forced fumble and his pressure on Glennon set up to remove his interception. What stood out about his production yesterday?
Well, one thing about Marcus, he plays. He's so physical, and he has such a great tempo to everything he does. His physicality is always felt both in the running and the pass rush. So I just think we're seeing full-time D-Law right now. I mean, he's really now into the mode of playing full-time reps. Which, we've had him a little bit on a pitch count there the first, particularly the first week, not as much the second week. So I just think you see that group. Coming together, and the fits and particularly the line movement things and stunts. I think they're more in sync, and in the pressure showing up. And the fact of the matter, we got a number of guys being productive in the defensive front. It definitely creates some more one-on-one opportunities for the other guys.
What worked well in the first half in the run game, and why didn't it work similarly in the second half?
Well, I think some of the things I thought they were crashing their ends some more in the second half. It got us. They got particularly second down with some more pressure, and second down was that was part of it too. So, but it's it's just execution and things we can build off of and so forth. But definitely I thought the way we started the game, and I thought our G schemes, or when we had the pullers, was very effective. And I thought they did they adjusted particularly to the lead puller a few times, and we're crashing that too. So these are all common adjustments you got to make during the course of a game.
What was more impressive from Micah, to recognize that pick and switch from an awareness standpoint, or to have the athletic ability to hang with the wide receiver down the boundary and keep the play from happening?
Well, I think you'd say that, just like anything, the ability to do that is obviously not for everybody. So just his uniqueness of his skill set there. But I do, particularly not only just Micah, the young players, when you do see the recognition, because that comes with reps and understanding, and and he is very instinctive. He's as natural as a player that has come into this league as far as the instincts and awareness, but his ability to turn and run obviously is not something everybody can do in that situation.
Did you guys rep that play in practice?
Yeah, the picks. Yeah, I mean, just they got us earlier on the one, but it was within the 1 yard difference. But yeah, that's, to be honest with you, you're always working at, particularly out of the tight splits.
Dak mentioned that DeMarcus had bet him the defense would get more turnovers than the offense would touchdowns. What goes through your mind when you see the offense and defense motivating each other like that, and how does that speak to the roles that DeMarcus and Dak have on this team?
I think anything that involves competition is healthy, as long as it's legal, within the bylaws of the league. But no, I think it just shows you, it gives you insight to, just really how competitive these guys are. It doesn't take them a whole lot to compete at anything. So I think it's just giving you a little bit of an inside look into the locker room.
You talked about this a minute ago, talking about the run game, pulling, and it seemed like y'all had a lot of success with some of that stuff in the first half. How much of that would you attribute to Connor coming back in, or just overall, how do you think he played?
I thought Connor played well. I thought he played really well. So it was good to have him in there, and then the combination of the two-back offense with Connor McGovern, I thought was definitely beneficial. But yeah, the schemes are more so because of what we do feel about our offensive line as a whole is more about who we're playing, and particularly the second time that we play them. Obviously we had some success in the first game with some of those schemes, and but just with the multiple fronts that they play, it gives us a chance to I don't want to get too. I thought we weren't supposed to talk about scheming here, but I mean, we felt it was a good plan for those guys. Yeah.
Was Pollard, as far as kick returns the rest of the way, was this something just the first game back? You didn't want to overload him, just kind of see how it goes from here?
Yeah, we just because we didn't really know. I mean, we didn't know until because that was really his first full-time action. So we just wanted to take it, see how it went, and just got the feedback as he went in and out of the game. So we'll see what this week brings.
Asked you about the end of the half situation after the game, and when you make those decisions, how much of it is it? This is what's going on in this game right now. It's not a feel of, well, I will always do this. You know what I'm getting at?
Well, I think we've I've talked about this before. I think there's usually a conservative approach and there's aggressive approach, and then there's by the numbers. In that particular situation, right before the half, we have a situation. We practice it every Friday or Saturday. It's part of our game situation. It's called OA zone. Everybody may have different thresholds, and when you call that, and our threshold's right at the 7 and 8 second mark. So that puts you in do you let the clock run down, kick the field goal, or do you call the timeout right there, take a shot at the end zone, and then kick the field goal? So we were right on the threshold there. I decided to go conservative there, run it down to 3 seconds, and kick the field goal.
And is that because you knew, okay, your defense was not going to allow? Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think the decision reflected on how I felt the game was going, clearly.
Malik Hooker, first interception since before his injury, before he got here. He talked about, building towards kind of that type of play. Where is he in terms of when you guys got him in training camp, kind of where is that now in terms of?
Well, he's ascending. I mean, I think we all recognize the player, when he came into the league and the success he had, in Indianapolis, and he's from Western Pennsylvania, which is huge. But I think it's just the way he's really come on of late. I mean, I think this was the most snaps that he's had. His production, and he had the big alley fill there, in the one that he just he looked like he shot out of a gun. So I think you're seeing him coming into his own. He's comfortable, ability to play both. We call it the front and the back as far as playing close to the box and back. So I thought he had his best game.
How do you balance Schultz that sometimes struggles as a blocker with what he gives you as a pass receiver?
Well, I mean, I think he's definitely a primary player for us on offense. So, and I thought he actually blocked very well. He had some tough matchups. Frankly, Dalton was a game ball winner on offense. There's your scoop for today. But it's. I thought he did a good, but those are some tough mismatches, especially against their front. So, but I think those are things where when you do put a plan together, you have matchups that you're worried about. You don't want to make a living all day when him blocking a 300-pound man. That's, I don't think that's the best way to go. But I mean, there's times where if you are asking him, I call it sideboards, whether it's a puller or he may have inside presence from the tackle too. So all that factors into your game plan decisions.
We talked a lot about Trayvon's ball skills, and obviously the statistics speak for themselves. On the other side of things, in the run game, there's times where, his physicality might not be, he might not be the most physical player on the field in certain situations. I'm trying to think of a nice way. But is that something you just kind of live with? Because there was one play yesterday where there's a pulling offensive lineman. Is the expectations low about what a corner can do in that situation, or do you want to see more from a player in that type of environment?
Well, I know the player you're talking about. I mean, obviously, the fit and and how he stretched the leverage of the puller, played into that too, because you are kind of buying time to squeeze the alley, So I mean, it's. You can't cut that guy no more, and he can't cut you. So I mean, there are rule changes, and I think the DBs are put in a little different position than they were, last year and before that too. So, I mean, how you fit the leverage and how you squeeze it to the alley player is important, because he's obviously the secondary outside leverage player there too. So, if you don't like the way it looks, then you probably ought to take it up with Trayvon. Okay, but his way, I think he held the leverage enough for the pursuit to fill inside and out. So, and I think with that, you may give up an extra yard or two, but he did contain the run.
Did he thank you for the challenge to get the 10th interception?
Yes, he did. Absolutely, yes.
On another note, I guess you're.
Did you challenge it on your own, or did he encourage you to do it?
No, actually, there's a bunch of no. It was really the communication. I think you got to give Ryan Feeder and our guys upstairs, because we didn't have a clean look at it. So it's just really the process that we go through. So, and if you remember the one earlier, it was because really you had three that were very similar in the game, and they actually officiated them, all three of them, the same. So
I think it's 100 challenges now, and you won 50, lost 50. Is that
I don't know. Is that any good? Depends what we're talking about here. Is it batting average? That'd be awesome.
I think also you're up 50 games above 500 as a career coach now. Is that a significant milestone just from someone who has been in the league that long to be at that level?
I really don't. I don't have any idea. I've never looked at what what the numbers are. So, but I'm just very fortunate, blessed to continue to have these opportunities.
On a similar note, we talked to Jerry after the game yesterday, and he said he went up to you after the game, just said he was glad that your name was next to these 10 wins, no matter how they come. It's meaningful to get them, as you said. What was that conversation like, and I guess just continuing what this opportunity means?
I always have a chance to talk with Jerry after the game, and it's he's always so positive about the team and the players, and we talk about some of the circumstances and the things that went on during the course of the game. But yeah, it's he's got such great energy and positivity to and passion for winning. So yeah, I mean it's obviously something that you enjoy, and you just understand that these opportunities are. I think when you're out a year, you really take a step back and make sure you appreciate every single one of those. And that was that was a huge win for us. To win 3 in a row and to win the 2 division games back to back on the road. So, trust me, I don't take it for granted.
Was it different not having it in the locker room? I think he was upstairs. Was it over the phone?
It was over the phone, correct? Yes.
Was that kind of different? Was that a protocol thing, or?
I think it just with the with the situation and with COVID, he's just trying to. Frankly, he feels like he wants to protect the players. So yeah, he's very conscientious of it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.